Happy Boxing Day, everyone. I hope you had a very Merry Christmas.
Christmas? Yeah. What am I going to say? Yeah. That's what Sky says, a little kid in a card. Oh, straight in my face. Nah, I seen him go in. Merry Christmas, Green Army. Hope you have a great one. Cheers.
Yeah, now?
What was I going to say?
Probably just Merry Christmas to the Green Army. See you at Cheltenham. Have a great day.
Merry Christmas, Green Army. See you at Cheltenham.
Filming nature.
Yeah.
Good. Merry Christmas, everyone. Have a great Christmas and a Happy New Year. See you soon.
Perfect.
What's this?
Do you wish your fans Merry Christmas?
Wish the fans Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas, Green Army. Hope you guys enjoy it. That better?
Go on, Dan.
Merry Christmas, guys. Retake. Merry Christmas, guys.
Happy Christmas to everyone. Have a good one.
Yeah.
Oh, Bush, I wasn't even filming that.
Come on.
Go on.
Do it together. Do it together. That's some pride.
Go on, Ryan. Do it again.
Go on, Rand. What are we doing?
Say Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to the Argyle fans. Have a good one. Sorry.
Sorry, I wasn't ready.
Do you want to do it all together?
What? Are we walking?
Oh my God.
Not do it again.
Not these three.
Nah.
Oh my God. Three wise men. It is not.
Merry Christmas, everyone. Merry Christmas to everyone. Oh, okay, everyone.
They don't know what they're saying though.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, everyone.
Don't say happy birthday.
Ready? And a Happy New Year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas, everyone, and a Happy New Year.
Thumbs up, Central.
Alright, Green Army, just wanted to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. 2022 has been a brilliant year for everybody involved at Argyle. I hope everybody enjoys the Christmas day, sitting at the top of the league, looking at their team, and hopefully 2023 will be equally as successful. So all the best and best wishes, and I'll see you soon.
Yeah, hello, good afternoon. Happy Boxing Day to everyone. I hope you had a great day yesterday. As everyone in the squad was saying there, you've probably eaten too much, probably drunk too much, been spoilt rotten, but don't worry because we've got you covered over the next 3 hours. You can sit back, relax and enjoy the football. And it wouldn't be Christmas, would it, without a trip to Cheltenham Town. And that's where Argyle are today for the third time in the last 4 years, sitting pretty at the top of the tree and hoping to make it 50 points at the halfway stage this season. They'll do that if they get a win. Well, coming up over the next 45 minutes or so before we bring you commentary, which you can see live on Argyle TV for just £10. We'll be bringing you all the team news. We'll bring you that in just a moment. We'll hear from inside the Argyle camp, get a little flavour from Joe Edwards on what he thinks about the season so far. And helping me through that is our very own Christmas elf, former academy coach Aaron Cusack. You're probably better than that, actually, aren't you? How was your Christmas, Aaron?
Fat and full. It was lovely, thank you. Yeah, just kind of trying to burn some energy off now by talking this afternoon rather than running around.
No, absolutely, and it is such a great tradition, isn't it? People love Boxing Day football. As you said, you've stuffed yourself the day before, you've had a great day with the family, and then it's out to watch football, and it's a pretty lovely day as well for it too.
Yeah, it is. It's great because, you know, traditionally there's a full calendar of games. It starts early in the morning from local football straight through to the Premier League is back this weekend, and hopefully we can, at 3 o'clock, we can watch Argyle get a victory against Cheltenham. And
I mentioned it just at the top, and we'll dive into it a little bit more detail. But Argyle top, we've got one game to go until it's the halfway point. 23 matches, 47 points. It's a pretty decent spot to be, but they're at Ipswich and Sheffield Wednesday lurking in the wings. So not only is it a fun day, but it's a vitally important one as well, isn't it?
Yeah, and whilst we see it as a holiday, which it is, it's not a holiday for them. It's a really busy period coming up. It's traditional in English football to have a busy kind of Christmas period, and it's work is normal for them. They need to go away with the right mindset and prepare to get 3 points today.
I think it was Dan Scarr, who we'll hear from a little bit later on, was asked in press this week how he juggles personal life with work life over Christmas, and he just said, we don't get a personal life. they get to enjoy that in the summer. But it's hopefully going to be a great day today. We'll be hearing from Stephen Schumacher in just a moment. But let's get the team news, shall we? Let's not keep you waiting for that one. We'll start with Argyle. And for the first time in what feels like a very, very long time, Stephen Schumacher has stuck with the same starting 11 that beat Morecambe in the last league game before Christmas. That means that Danny Mayer continues just in behind Niall Ennis, who gets another run up front after the goal in the game. And Londvik, Scar and Gillespie is the back three. And it's the first time, Aaron, since the third game of the season where it's been back-to-back matches with the same defensive combination.
And I think that will breathe confidence through, the back unit, including Coops in goal. It's very difficult when you've got an ever-changing back line to get some consistency, and that's probably gone hand in hand with the recent kind of undulation of how they've performed, especially in the defensive areas. So hopefully today they can get a little bit of unity back, understanding back, and that leads to 3 points.
Yeah, and then it has been probably no surprise that since Dan Scar has come back in for the last couple of matches, we'll maybe take Wimbledon out of that because it was a bit of a free-for-all. But he came on in the last couple of minutes against Cambridge in the first clean sheet in a long time. We conceded late against Morecambe, bit of a switch off potentially. But we said it a couple of weeks ago, didn't we, that him being back would make a big difference, and it's already proving that way.
I think so, and like I said a couple of weeks ago, it's not just his physical presence that he brings; it's also, his leadership skills and his ability to kind of unify the other two alongside him, along with Coops in goal. And he's clearly the talisman, the kind of the central figure of that back line, and it's great to have him back on the pitch today.
And we'll speak about him in a little bit more detail. The other big highlight, I suppose, is the fact that Danny Mayer came back in against Morecambe, and in the first half in particular was almost unplayable. And we've said it a few times, I think, in his period being out, that he just allows Morgan Witter to get more of the ball, Niall Ennis to get more of the ball, because he is such a threat for opposition players, isn't he?
Yeah, and sometimes it's easy to judge players purely on their statistics. And I think what Danny Mayer does probably better than anyone in the squad is how well he carries the ball. He carries the ball up the pitch, which relieves pressure at the other end. And the closer you get to the opposition goal, the more opportunities you're going to have to score. And that's where the likes of Whittaker and Ennis and others, combine, and we get those goals.
Let's have a look at the Cheltenham Town side, the home side's team. Their manager Wade Elliott has made one change from their last league game, and it feels like a long time since they last played. El Glostico against Forest Green, which was the same day as that Cambridge match for Argyle, a couple of weekends. And that sees a change at the back with Raglan coming in for Taylor. They set up similarly to Argyle. The team will come up on the screen in just a moment. There you go. Threats in there. Aaron, specifically up top, you've got Ryan Broom, who we know all about, charging down the wing, and Alfie May, who's come back into the side in the last couple of weeks, and he's got a couple of goals in his last two league games.
Yeah, and I think they do, like you say, Charlie, like to play a back three with maybe kind of a 5 and a 2. So alongside Alfie May and Dan Nulandulu, who's a threat. I've done a little bit of research on him recently. He's very two-dimensional in the way that he can bring players into the game with his back to goal, but if you give him room to turn and run, he's got pace as well. So he's going to be a threat going forward and as well as pinning the ball.
They've also welcomed back a couple of players back from injury that are on the bench, Will Ferry and Taylor Perry. Taylor Perry in particular, on loan from Wolves this season. And he's been missed, to put it frankly. He's played in 3 of Cheltenham's 6 league wins and was spoken about a lot, impressed by Wade Elliott about how important he has been. They didn't send him back to Wolves, for example, for his rehab. They wanted to keep him around because he's that type of character, and he just has a bit of quality for them. So that's waiting in the wings.
Absolutely, and I think sometimes just having the personnel there can boost everyone around. So just having him, physically involved, whether he's clearly perhaps not got 90 minutes in him, but he'll be called upon when needed to today.
Well, we'll see how this one plays out. We'll hear from Wade Elliott a little bit later on as well. But let's get the view from inside the Argyle dressing room and speak to Stephen Schumacher. He caught up with me just before Christmas about making that trip up the M5 to Cheltenham for the 3rd time in 4 years. It wouldn't be Christmas, would it, Gaffer, without a trip to Cheltenham? Seems like we're there every year.
It does. We know the way. Yeah, we don't need the sat-nav to the hotel, so Yeah, we're well experienced on it. And it's going to be another good game, hopefully. I think the previous games you've had there against them on Boxing Day have been entertaining. Last year's one, we enjoyed it, got a great result. So, yeah, hopefully we can put on another good performance for what is going to be another sellout away at Cheltenham, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose if you're not going to be at home, you do want one that's closer, and Cheltenham for our fans, you can go up on the day and it's great. And as you said, the sold out tickets. Do you enjoy the Boxing Day matches? Do you like them?
I love the Boxing Day matches, yeah. Just wish that we'd get one here.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it's fair that, I think 6 on the spin we've had away from home, 7 out of 8 apparently. And I think that it'd be nice for our fans to enjoy a local Christmas Day here and not have to worry about driving the next day and go to the local pubs around here on Boxing Day. So it would be nice if the EFL looked after us once in a while. Because yeah, the Boxing Day fixtures are great and it's what everybody looks forward to. It's one of the first ones on the calendar that you see who you're playing. It just feels like we've had deja vu.
It absolutely is. Although we'd take deja vu, wouldn't we, if we get the same result as we have the last couple?
Exactly, yeah. If we get the same performance and we get the same results as we did last year, then no one will moan and no one will complain, and it will have been a good day. But I think for us to do that, we have to make sure that we play really well, because it's going to be a hard game. It's always tough every time you go there. The pitch always feels real small, so you've got to battle and fight and earn the right, which we did last year, and counter-attacked, I think, twice for 2 goals. So, yeah, it might be something similar this year.
What are you expecting from the game? Because looking at their form and just across the whole season, really, I think they've conceded fewer goals than us.
Yeah.
But they haven't scored as many, clearly, and are on a quite a decent run at home in the league. What are you expecting from it?
Yeah, exactly that. What you've just said, they don't give you too much. I think they've won 1-0 like 5 times as well, so it shows how defensively solid they are and how organised they are. The defenders are no nonsense, really. They're physical and to defend their goal well. I think they have underperformed on what the goals or their expected goals would have been, and they created some real good chances and just haven't been clinical with them. So we need to make sure that we don't give them too many chances, because we know Alfie May is a quality player at this level, and the other big guy here, Dan Enlundulu, he's a handful. So defensively, you have to make sure that we're on it and we pass the ball as well as we possibly can on what a tight pitch, and do enough to try and get the 3 points, because it's important.
And if we were to get them, it would give us 50 points at the halfway stage, which is a mind-blowing tally, really, isn't it?
It's unbelievable, yeah. And if we get that, it'd be a brilliant achievement and something that the players can all be really proud of. They've worked so hard in the first half of the season. This is the 23rd game, and for us to be sitting top of the league with 50 points should give you loads of confidence that, you know, you've done half a season. Now you've got to, obviously going to have peaks and troughs throughout the second half of the season. We understand that. We're not going to get it, you know, all our own way again for the second half of the season, but this will finish off the first half of what's been a brilliant campaign so far.
It has been a brilliant campaign so far, and as the gaffer was saying there, Aaron, to get to 50 points if they were to win today, and I know we're slightly getting ahead of ourselves, but at the halfway point, it is a mind-blowing statistic, that.
It is, and it demonstrates the consistency from day one straight through to now. They've had a couple of blips more recently, but every team will. But I think what it proves is their ability to keep going over a longer period of time, and may that long continue. Yeah,
no, absolutely. And the other thing to kind of say alongside that is that if you look at the same kind of amount of games last season, at the 22 game stage, we were on 37 points. It's 47 points this season. So it's a 10-point advantage of where you are already. And if you look at where Argyle finished that season, and they had a bit of a tricky sort of November, December, beginning of January, then, you know, that would have, the extra 10 points would have made, you know, we would have gone up automatically. So that just shows that the platform is there, isn't it, now?
Absolutely. And I think they're going to utilise the experiences from last year to build upon, which they've already done. And you ask anyone all over the world with football, if you'd rather have games in hand or points on the board, they want the points on the board. So, you know, whilst they got some tricky games coming up over the next few weeks in particular, the teams that they're playing against have got to beat them, and there's no guarantee of that. So, you know, they're in a very, very strong position.
Well, how good do you think the win against Morecambe was? How vital, I should say, rather than good? Because, as you said, the form had just been on a bit of a plateau. There'd been a few draws, there'd been a defeat in there. As much as anything, just to kind of show the players that they can win again, if you know what I mean. Because it wasn't all doom and gloom. If you look at the games we played, that weren't really, really bad in them and stuff like that, was it?
No, and I think the win against Morecambe would have just... I think the players would have always believed that they were capable, but it just relieves that element of pressure from everyone, the supporters, the club, the whole squad, the management, to say, okay, we got the 3 points, we're back where we belong, we're top of the table, they've been there for a long time. Just rekindled that ability to continually believe that they can, get another good run going. I think what perhaps dampened it slightly was the concession of the goal right at the end, but by all accounts that was a consolation. It was a very convincing performance, even though perhaps the scoreline didn't show it by winning by the odd goal.
Yeah, well, if you look at the stats again purely from that, I think it was 31 shots in total, 2 goals. It was double figures for shots on target. So just from the eye test, they were clearly getting their mojo back. Whether that's the introduction of Danny Mayer back into the side, or whether that is just a little bit of a, it's working for us again, playing at home again, who knows? But that's exciting going forward, isn't it? That you can create a shed load of chances against a side managed by Derek Adams, and we all know how sort of resolute and strong he can be defensively when he needs to be. A side that's fighting for their lives are generally pretty defensively sound as well, but 31 chances created is mind-blowing again.
And I think that the worry would be if they're not creating chances. That's the worry, but they are. And, the keeper, by all accounts, was probably their best player on the day. He made a hatful of good saves, and on another day it could have been 5, 6, 7. So, the fact that they're creating the chances is the most encouraging thing. The conversion is the most important thing. So if they can continue to create today and then convert, they should have enough to win the game.
Just looking through the team, and we obviously looked at the side a little earlier. If you missed it, it's an unchanged side from that Morecambe win, actually. It means Matt Butcher stays in midfield. We've seen him play at left centre-back, left back in recent weeks. He started the season alongside Adam Randall in central midfield because of Jordan Houghton's suspension. Houghton got himself back in. Butcher's now back in again. How do you see those two working alongside Rands and the differences that they do have to each other?
I think Butcher automatically brings balance in the sense that he's left-footed. So you've got that opportunity to sit left-hand side of as a CDM. You've got that natural balance between him and Gillespie, both left-footers. So that helps to create symmetry on the pitch. I think he's a little bit more industrious than Houghton. I think Houghton's a bit more of a ball player, if you want to call him more of an orchestrator. But they have qualities as individuals, but collectively, they can bring a good unit together alongside Rands as well.
Yeah. Well, Rands seems to be the constant in that side as well, which is incredible as a youngster. Right, we'll have more chat coming up in just a moment. We'll be hearing from Dan Scarr and Joe Edwards as well, so make sure you don't go anywhere.
Bad ball in, good goal, progress into the second division.
You're watching Argyle TV with Aaron Cusack and myself. Happy Boxing Day. It wouldn't be Boxing Day, would it, without a trip to Cheltenham, and that is where Argyle are today. A reminder that you can watch the game live on Argyle TV. All the details can be found on our website, pafc.co.uk. Click on the Argyle TV tab. You can see all the streaming options there. It costs just £10, and if you're not at the ground, it's the next best thing. We're biased, but it is. Right, Dan Scarr. We've spoken a little bit about him already, and he is now back in that back three, second start in the last couple of matches after a 5-week injury layoff. And we caught up with him about how happy he is just to be back in amongst it again.
It's horrible obviously watching and that, so I kind of wanted to get back into it as soon as I can, but no, it's been fine. Training's been good, it's been intense, which is what I need, and then obviously lucky enough got back in the squad on Saturday, so hopefully I can keep my pace, but I just need to keep training as everyone does. Yeah.
You say it's horrible watching. When you watch, are you like a fan, or are you like a, I don't know, like a teammate when you're watching people specifically?
Bit of both, I think. You always watch players like around your position, or even the opposition players like the strikers and stuff like that. And then obviously a fan, because you want the team to win and stuff like that. But I'll always like kicking head every ball, and you always think it looks so easy from up there, and that's what's annoying. And then when you can't do anything about it, it's a tough one. But yeah, it's a tough watch, but it's good. Yeah.
It was good to get that win against Morecambe, wasn't it? It was kind of felt needed.
Yeah.
I think after the run we've been on.
Definitely, we said it as a group of lads. We said it like with the staff as well, and the gaffer said like it's just a must-win Saturday. We're at home. Obviously playing Morecambe, who aren't like supposedly one of the better teams or whatever. But every game in this league is a tough game, and I think the run of form we've been on lately hasn't been the best. I don't think we've quite played with like expression as like we normally do, but I think that's just a bit of credit to some of the other teams, the way they're setting up against us, and the so-called lesser teams, like the slower down the table and stuff. They're the tougher ones, really. Like it's easy to like when we play against the bigger teams and stuff, they're expansive. They're not too bothered about us, where you go to those sort of teams and they're more focused on you than them themselves, and that's when they bank up, and it is a hard game to break down. Like Cambridge, thought they were really good. Port Vale, I thought they were a good side. Obviously Morecambe as well. Like they've all been good sides and tough to play against.
Do you personally sort of relish matches like that, even though they are maybe tricky, because it's clear that everybody's raising their game to play against us?
Yeah, yeah, I think so. I think it's you know you're going to be in for a fight, and I think for some players that's what they like, and other players would prefer to play other teams where they've got a bit more space and stuff. Like the Cambridge pitch, it's tight, it's not the nicest, and for our players that we want on the ball, it's not the best for them. The gaps get smothered quickly. So I think it just depends what type of player you are, really. But I obviously like them, but I like every game. So yeah.
The one coming up, Cheltenham, we seem to always play them on Boxing Day.
Yeah.
Not too far from your home as well. So how do you approach this one? Because obviously you know Broomy in the team.
Yeah.
They're near the bottom of the table, but they've been in some quite good form recently.
Yeah, I think just the same as we've approached the other ones, but I think we just need to go, and obviously if we do what we do and what we're good at, then we'll beat teams, and I think that's what we need to focus on. Obviously we need to do work on them, and we'll go through them and look where their strengths and weaknesses are, but ideally we just need to go and like express ourselves, play good football. The pitch is normally all right there, so there's no reason why we can't go there and put on a good show.
Dan Scard there, and Aaron, we spoke about it earlier, saying he's, since he's come back in, it's already made a bit of an impact. You spoke about some reasons why, but what is it about Dan Scard in particular that you think does give that extra bit of confidence to the players around him?
I think his aerial duels, how strong he is in the air. If teams want to go a bit more direct, he brings that reassurance that he's going to win that first header, that first ball, and that kind of promotes confidence amongst the back line. And like I've said previously, I think it's just his presence. He's a good mover. I don't think he'll profess to be the greatest footballer, but he's very good at what he's there to do, which is to stop forward play. And and having him back in the side just demonstrates how much they've missed him during the course where he was injured.
He's not the first player also to mention that games seem to be getting harder for Argyle. It sounds stupid me saying this, but teams they're a target, aren't they? Top of the league, you're bound to be a target. You hear it in every single manager and player pre-match from the opposition. They're top of the league for a reason. They're the best team in the league, and teams want to beat the best team in the league, don't they? And it's been evident in the last few matches that sides that you might think on paper, well, we should beat them because we beat the other teams at the top of the table. It hasn't quite been like that, and the players are thinking it. They know, don't they, that it's going to be tough.
Yeah, and I think as football fans, we can sometimes presume that because a team is lower in the division, then it's going to be a relatively easy win, and sometimes they're the hardest games to win because the opponents are going to set up. They're going to have, they'll look at the fixture list and go, we've got Plymouth in 2 weeks' time. That will be our toughest game this month. So they're going to do perhaps a bit more preparation, a little bit more research on the strengths and the areas that they can perhaps, pick off when they play against us. And, that becomes hard to play against because all of a sudden that's happening every other week now. So Argyle have got to go into these games knowing that the so-called teams towards the bottom end, they're going to be doing a lot more research when it comes to playing them on game day. So that's difficult to play against each week.
Even the individual battles, you can see it. Someone is a little bit more up for it in a challenge. You saw like Sam Smith a couple of weeks ago look properly up for a game. Hadn't played in a while for Cambridge. It's the same again, isn't it? We'll have to see. Anyway, today does mark the halfway point of the season. We mentioned it a couple of times. Joe Edwards, the skipper, we thought it would be a good opportunity to chat to him about how he has seen this first half of the season.
Joe, we're almost halfway through the season, coming to that time of year when you kind of take stock and look forward again. Thought it'd be a great chance to have a chat with you as skipper to see how you and the boys kind of feel it's all going. So, I mean, where do you place us other than top of the table?
Yeah, no, it's been a fantastic start to the year, and we've maintained that to the midway point now, which is unbelievable. So, boys are in good spirits. The belief's still there. We had targets, at the start of the season, which we always set out on. We do monthly targets as well, and like I say, we keep meeting them. So, for us, it's a very positive place to be at the moment. We've probably had our sticky patch coming into the last game, and then we've got another win under our belt, and we can hopefully start a new run. So, in terms of what we expected and where we're at, I'd say we're probably way ahead of where we're at. But the belief's always been there. So if you can use the quality that we have in the squad and keep that consistent that we have, you hope to be up and around it.
Yeah, okay. Well, I was going to ask you that question. Has it gone better than even you could have expected? Yeah,
I think so. Listen, you always wish and hope and believe that you can be up near and around it at the top and in the playoffs, and we'd have hoped that, but like I said, in the reality of actually being there and top at Christmas is probably ahead of expectation. We know that then comes with pressure, and people expect more. But for us, we keep working hard, and like I said, we're really enjoying the position we're in, and we hope we can maintain it.
What would you say is your sort of biggest takeaway from the first 5 months of the season? What's the thing that stood out the most?
I think just the unity within the group. That's not just the players, the staff, the club as well. I think, you can really feel the togetherness with everyone, and I do genuinely believe that helps to be successful. Like I said, we've had a changeover of players again this summer, and we've signed a lot of new lads, and we've signed some lone lads, and everyone's bought into what we're trying to achieve. So, for me, like I said, it's been really enjoyable, and we hope we can keep these positives going.
Has one of the biggest bits been not allowing the disappointment of the final day of last season to bleed into this year?
Yeah, definitely, and it did hurt over the summer, and it took a while to get over. But like you said, you use that and take that into this season. And like you said, we did have a fresh squad, which probably helped in terms of we signed quite a few numbers. They didn't have that sort of hangover from last year. The players that we kept were driven to do better. The manager we've got is young and hoping to do as well as he can. So that helped us go into pre-season. Then you have to start the season well, and we did do that. We had a few good results, a few bad results, but then we found our form and our consistency, and we put on an unbelievable run against the top sides, which has put us where we are today for a reason. So I think with that gives you the belief, and that sort of wipes away the memories of last year sometimes.
Yeah, you mentioned playing that run of games at the start of the season against the fancy teams in the league. We've gone through a little period where we've struggled with injuries. There's been quite a lot thrown at the team, yet to be top of the tree with 47 points.
Yeah, and you expect that, I think, throughout the year, the ups and downs and the twists and turns that you're going to find. And we had a run of fixtures last year similar, which didn't go how we wanted it, whereas this year we've really sort of expressed and fulfilled what we wanted to do in them games, and that set out a marker to the other teams in the league. They may have thought we would fall away, and we hope we'll stay up there. And yeah, like I said, it's just about that mentality to keep going. That you're going to have different things. We've had lots of injuries. I know other teams as well, but we've had a lot of big long-term injuries. but everyone who's come in has done a job. Subs have come on, have always been fantastic. So like I said, that we are going to have more injuries. There's going to be different obstacles in our way, but we hope. So I mean, as a whole, we can continue.
Just finally, it is only halfway through. There's still another half of the season to go. Still a long way. What's the key then, Joe, to stick in with this form?
Like I always say, the consistency in this level, you're good enough players to win games. The players you've got, you've seen at the moment, have the quality to win games on their own at times, but you have to be consistent in this league. Done it before where you can go both ways. You can lose a couple of games in a row and you really drop down, and you can win a cup when you stay up there. But as a whole, if you can maintain that consistency throughout a longer period, you end up where you deserve to be. At the moment, we're top and we deserve to be there with how we've played. And like I said, we've got a long, hard second half of the season to go, and we just hope we can mirror and match what we've done so far.
Well, we're just under half an hour away from kick-off here on Argyle TV. Argyle against Cheltenham, of course. It's Boxing Day. What other game will you see? We've got so much still to fit in, including hearing from the Cheltenham perspective, so don't go anywhere. Right, let's go inside the Cheltenham dressing room then and hear from their manager, Wade Elliott. It's his first real job. He took over in the summer from Michael Duff, who did so well, of course, for them. But how is he preparing to take on the league leaders?
I think Stephen's done a brilliant job. It's not easy taking over from someone who's been successful, but he's gone in and he's put his stamp on it, and he's done ever so well. They're top of the league on merit. So table tells you at the moment they're the best team in the league. So it's a brilliant challenge for us and one we're looking forward to.
You know, I suppose it doesn't get much tougher, does it, than at home to the league leaders on Boxing Day. They went back to the top of the table. It was their first win in a little while. What do you sort of put that sort of run without a win that they had down to? I mean, did they take a little while to recover from their FA Cup exit?
No, I don't think so. I think when you watch the games back, certainly the games they've been dominant in the games. They've got a really good brand of football. They've got a distinctive style and a way of playing, but they're very resilient, hard to break down. Their defensive record's good. I think they were just a little bit unfortunate in the games that I've seen not to take the chances that they created.
They also played in the trophy on Wednesday night, won on penalties. I guess their preparation's been very different to yours, hasn't it, in terms of lots of games as opposed to you haven't played for a little while.
Yeah, but there's no magic formula in football. You don't. There's no ideal preparation. Sometimes you're better off having the rest. Sometimes you're better off playing the games. They made a couple of changes against Wimbledon, mixed up a little bit. So I'm sure they'll be. Listen, we're preparing for Plymouth at the very, very top of their game.
And what does it take to be in a situation where you can get a result from that? I mean, presumably you need everyone to be on their game as well.
Oh, we just have to concentrate on us and our performance. So I always say to the lads, you can get beat, no problem with you getting beat, but it's the manner that we go about it. And generally we just concentrate on ourselves and making sure that we do what we're capable of. And if we do believe that we're good enough against anybody to get a result.
Wade Elliott there, chatting to the press before Christmas and before this game about how he's going to approach the match, and we'll find out his team news in just a moment. We'll get a little refresher now, shall we, of the Argyle side. The 11 picked to take on Cheltenham today sees an unchanged lineup for the first time in a very, very, very long time. So that means that Nigel Longfat keeps his place at the back. Dan Scarr in the centre. There you go. Here's the side. And Matt Butcher continues in the middle of midfield. Niall Ennis up front as well. Aaron, he seems to never let Argyle down when he starts. He seems to always score. I put the kiss of death on him now, obviously. But
no, I mean, I think he's having a great season. What I like about him is his ability. You know, he's not the tallest, but he can bring others into the game so well. He's very good at pinning the ball and inviting the likes of Mayer and Mumba and Whittaker onto the ball, bringing a unit connection to create an attack. And I think that sometimes goes a little bit amiss. People don't see the value that actually brings by, taking the ball up the pitch and making it stick and then allowing those runners to get involved.
He is also having his best goal-scoring season in senior football this year as well.
Oh, that's great. And, I don't know his age. Is he young, early 20s?
Yeah, early 20s, yeah.
Yeah, so, the fact that he's having his best run now means that it's all starting to come together for him as his career is starting to kind of, progress and develop.
And we do say this quite a lot, but you've got Sam Cosgrove, you've got a hat-trick about 4 days ago on the bench. You've got Ryan Hardy on the bench. Both of those strikers have scored 10 goals this season, and they're not getting in the starting lineup. The option to change it, as has so often happened this season, is there for Shuey, isn't it?
And I think what's particularly encouraging about those three in particular, they're all different. They're different types of players, so you've got a variety of different options to go to should plan A, B or C not quite come to fruition, and that's a real luxury to have, and they'll be called upon when they're ready, when the time comes. So then, for me, they're not substitutes today. They're just part of the squad, and their role will be a little bit later on.
Game changers, finishers, whatever you like to say. Let's have a look at the Cheltenham side then. They've made one change from their last league game, which was a 1-0 defeat against Forest Green Rovers a couple of weekends ago. That sees Raglan come in at the back for Caleb Taylor, the young centre-back, on loan from West Brom. We've said that we've spoken about the fact that they have threats there, Aaron, yet it doesn't, the math doesn't add up there because they've only scored 16 goals this season. Where do you feel Argyle might have to have a key area of focus?
I think we've got to be mindful, especially down the wide areas. They've sort of scored a couple of goals recently in more wider areas, and there seems to be a pattern where it goes into the front players and then the wide players, get on their bike, so to speak, and get beyond. So it promotes more of an up, back and through type of tactic. And if Argyle are left exposed in those wide areas, which tends to happen when you play a back three, that could be an area of vulnerability, which they've got to be mindful of.
Just a reminder that this game is available to watch wherever you are in the world. It costs just £10. You can find all the details on how to get your stream pass on our website, pafc.co.uk. Click on the Argyle TV tab at the top, and then you can find all of the streaming details there. Aaron and I will be heading across to do commentary in about 5 or 6 minutes' time. So if you haven't got your pass already, make sure you go and get it. We've just got enough time to have a quick chat. I mentioned the subs and finishers, game changers, actually, that was it, wasn't it? 22 goals have come from subs this season. And that emphasises that exact point, doesn't it? That it is a squad game, and it gives confidence, I suppose, to the players that are playing, knowing that they can they can put everything into it, because they know someone can come on that can be equally, if not maybe more impactful than them, which sometimes isn't always the case, is it?
No, I mean, because again, we're quick to judge statistics, so whether someone's had a good game is dependent upon their outcomes and their numbers, and that's not always the case. I mean, I think the game I came to, one of the early games against Oxford, and I think it was Ryan Hardy worked terrifically hard for 60 minutes, where he really ran the Oxford backline ragged, and then he brought on Ennis, and I think it might have been Whittaker, and the goal came from that combination, So Ryan Hardy had done all the work there, where he had tired their back line, which brought fresh legs into the limelight, and then they got kind of perhaps all the plaudits, where it's actually Ryan Hardy's contribution that created that win. So it just goes to show the variability, the variety that the club has at its exposure to win football matches, and if they can keep it going, then it's great to see.
Cliche Claxon coming here as well. Festive period, a lot of games. We've got the game today, obviously, against Cheltenham, and then it's back-to-back home matches on Thursday against Wickham, and then Milton Keynes Dons on New Year's Day. So the ability to have different ways of playing, fresher legs if they're not playing a full 90, for example, a squad about, when you can pick up big points during this little time. In a week's time, you could have 9 extra points than what you've got now.
Well, yeah. So by the turn of the year, we could be 9 points better off. And, you know, there is a football cliche that where a manager will say everyone's got a part to play today, you know, especially for players in dressing rooms who perhaps won't get any minutes. But this is true, the fact that in the next 5-6 days, every player in that squad has a part to play because they will be called upon. And that demonstrates the depth and quality that the squad currently has, or the club currently has.
How do you see the game going then, if I had to push you?
Well, it's hard. I mean, again, is it going to start frantically? It seems like it's a similar pitch to Burton and Cambridge, the last kind of couple of games I sat and commentated on. I think Argyle have got to be patient. I mean, whilst Cheltenham only lost 1 in the last 6, I think Plymouth are the same. Cheltenham are not renowned for scoring lots of goals, so the good thing will be if Argyle do score, then have Cheltenham got the resolve not only to score themselves but actually go on and win the game, which form suggests they haven't. So it'll be good to see if we can get an early goal. That would help settle any nerves. But let's see. Be patient. I think it's key to be patient.
Patience is key. Let's have a quick look at the other games that are taking place in Sky Bet League One today. Then 11 fixtures in total. Derby play Bolton tomorrow. Ipswich, of course, all eyes drawn to that. Just a couple of points behind Argyle at home to Oxford United. What could be a pretty interesting game. Argyle's next opponents, Wickham, are at home to Bristol Rovers, and Sheffield Wednesday away at Fleetwood. They're a couple of points further behind in the top 3, which are really pulling away. A couple of nice, interesting games. Exeter Portsmouth is quite a big one. Charlton Peterborough as well. We'll try and keep you up to date with as many of those throughout the afternoon as we can during half-time and at full-time as well. But that is pretty much it from us for the build-up today. Aaron and I will be heading across the commentary position. And as I've been saying a couple of times, remember you can watch us anywhere in the world. If you're not at Cheltenham, if you're recovering from your Christmas dinner, or you may be having a second Christmas, but you've got the football on. You can watch this game live on Argyle TV. It costs just £10. You can find all of the streaming details on our website, pafc.co.uk. Click on the Argyle TV tab and everything should be there for you. Pretty much ready then. Let's head over to the commentary position. Aaron, you guys can settle in because it's Cheltenham against Argyle, part 3 over the last 4 years, and it's coming up next.